John Macaroon, Detroit Lions on SI, recapping a 27-24 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. Unfortunately, a division game was lost at home at Ford Field. After the bye week, the Detroit Lions simply played one of their sloppiest games. The offensive line really struggled. One of the stories of the game is the offensive line really struggled against Brian Flores and the sheer amount of pressure that Jared Goff faced. You recognize that J.J. McCarthy is a young, inexperienced quarterback. He was able to lead 2 early scoring drives. And for the Detroit Lions, some of the areas that they wanted to improve simply weren't cleaned up or were not cleaned up effectively. The offense on third down still continues to struggle. Many third down and long situations that the Lions simply weren't able to overcome. And you recognize that throughout the game, the Lions did claw and scratch their way, were competitive in the second half, made a game of it. But when the defense was called upon to make the plays late, they simply weren't able to, as J.J. McCarthy was able to ice the contest. When you look at all 3 phases for the Detroit Lions, simply did not step up. You had a blocked field goal. That's a critical play in the second half. Unfortunately, the Lions were battered, beaten. Brian Flores really brought it. Taylor Decker went down for a bit but came back, and you recognize that a player like Christian Mahogany, a key part of the offensive line, goes down, and according to Dan Campbell, is going to be out for a long while. So for the Detroit Lions, a real sloppy game. Begs the question, did the bye week really impact them significantly, out of rhythm offensively? J-Mo did get a touchdown, but unfortunately, far too many mistakes. David Montgomery with the fumble. A contest in which it was really uncharacteristic of the Detroit Lions. The way in which they played, the manner in which they did not execute, and for Kelvin Shepard's defense not making the plays late to get the ball back to the offense. A lot of things to look at and clean up ahead of the Washington Commanders game. So the Lions fall to 5-3. They do not take advantage of the bye week and do not take advantage of the home crowd. Fall surprisingly to the Minnesota Vikings.